our guest to another interview with Godreports and Assist News. Pleased to welcome today Alon Wald, who is representing a historic site in Israel called Ammunition Hill. Tell us about your background as a soldier.
My background as a soldier started at the age of 17 and a half when the nation knocked on my door. It's done. We need still, most of us go to the army. And they posed the question, Alon, what do you want to do? I wanted to be a paratrooper like my father was. I wanted to be on the front line, to be worthy of his legacy later on. We'll talk about it. But I was prevented from doing so because in Israel we protect the bereaved families. If someone dies in action, his successor, younger brother or son, cannot go to a combat unit by definition, by law. You can go to do other stuff in the army, medics, computers, intelligence. You can be very useful to your nation. But I wanted to wear the same red boots my father left behind, literally. And the only way to do it is to confront your legal guardian, your mother, that needs to sign a waiver to the nation saying it's on me, take my son, which is one of the toughest ordeals you can possibly imagine to a mother, a wife. She's behind the scene all those years until her son pushes her to the front. I manipulated her, I admit, any way I could. I begged her, Mommy, please, in other words, gamble your sanity in my life.
So initially she did not respond the way you hoped.
Oh no, it's tough. It's very tough. I was the only son. And I don't know what led her to do it. She's brave. She's the rock of my life. She signed the waiver and I became a paratrooper. I became an officer, first for my crew. I was part of the Sayeret Tzanchanim, which is the reconnaissance unit of the paratroopers. And I was in Lebanon. I was in the first Intifada.
What years would this have been?
1984, I was recruited to the IDF. 1990, I finished my army service in one of the most admired units, Magellan. I can tell you today, we are the guys who are jumping behind enemy lines with special lasers, beaming on targets who do not know who hit them. Eventually, you see it on the television, but somebody needs to be on the ground to designate, to mark airstrikes.
I see. Huh.
I finished my army service. I became Air Marshal of El Al, kept on flying all over the world. I was the security officer in charge of the embassy in Cairo, one of the toughest years of my life. And then I was sent...
Why was that so difficult?
Because you live amongst 12 million people who can be potential threat to you, and you are paid to be on a paranoid state of mind. This is your job. You have literally a small army, many diplomats, many families, wives, kids. You do not know what's going to happen, and it is your job to be ready for this.
So you were there to protect
Yes.
The Israelis.
And after you pay your dues to the service, you can choose anything that opens, and I chose Vienna, Austria. For 4 years I served in Vienna in Austria. So I can actually speak to Arabic and German as well, shifting from one side of the world to the other side of the world, confronting same threats, by the way. But the beginning of my life was indeed Ammunition Hill. Ammunition Hill was and still is a stronghold, a battlefield. Whoever wanted to control Jerusalem, to block Jerusalem, to protect Jerusalem during its 4,000 years of existence knew that this is the region that needs to be controlled.
A strategic
point, a highland. There's a saying in Hebrew, Yerushalayim harim saviv la. Jerusalem is surrounded by mountains. So any emperor, any crusader, any Turkish or Ottoman landlord, he knew he has to take this ridge. The Jordanians made sure that on this place, whoever looked the Israeli side of Jerusalem for 19 years will be positioned the best of the legionnaires of the El Hussein tribe. This is a tribe that was more loyal than King Hussein, that they were afraid of death. They, for 19 years, ever since the Independence War, when Jerusalem was divided 8.5 kilometers by two generals from both sides, they overlooked the Israeli side of Jerusalem. General Abu al-Tal wanted to finish the war. So they opened the map, 1948, the end of the war. It was the beginning of 1949, over a hood of an army jeep, and they took a pen and chopped Jerusalem to two cities. This is yours, this is mine. Moshe Dayan was very wise. He didn't want to leave it to the politicians. We wanted Israel to exist. And for 19 years, all these treasures, the Western Wall and the Jewish quarters and Temple Mount, were kept on the other side. It was a status quo nobody wanted to mess with. We really wanted to live. We just rose from the ashes of the Holocaust and it was okay. But in May 1967, President Nasser formed the coalition of all of the Arab nations, making a vow through his spokesman. Jews were going to storm into Palestine and finish whatever Hitler could not have achieved. You have limited time, flee from Palestine. If not, we're going to butcher you and throw you to the sea. My mother and grandmother dug trenches in front of their homes in the cities in the heart of Israel, Kfar Saba and Rishon LeZion. I was out of the equation. I was a 10-month baby. But the government of Israel decided never again. They're not going to wait for this. And they launched a preemptive strike, 5th of June 1967. 196 combat airplanes, everything we had, flew very low above the sea, above Ashkelon, to the Sinai Peninsula, to the heart of Egypt, demolishing all of the active airplanes of the Egyptian army on the ground. It was brilliant. It was amazing. Until today, they teach it in other armies in the world. But the result couldn't be helped. You know, after 2.5 hours, we were preoccupied once again, second time, third time, full-scale war in Israel. And I decided to come about 17 years ago to Ammunition Hill, and I wanted to change the narrative because it was a battlefield. Talking about sacrifice and death and who jumped on the hand grenade, who lost his life. It's sexy, it's nice, but what do you do with it? We tripled the amount of visitors at Ammunition Hill. They come from all over the world. All the assets we have, they speak 6 languages, and we can add as many as we will need. Mm-hmm. All is been digitized, and it became my life mission.
My wife and I were in Israel in 2022, and we didn't know about Ammunition Hill, and it wasn't on our itinerary. What is, as you said, it was initially more Israelis coming there, but your hope is what for this site?
To resonate it as powerfully as I can to the world. And when you start a journey, you do not realize where is it going to lead you to. When the Jordanians started to come, when the non-Jewish people started to come, we realized we do something which is actually, we seek and find the widest common denominator of core values. Mm-hmm. Take it whenever you want, wherever you want. And from a battlefield, it evolved to be a heritage site, and it's going to be an educational asset. And I want people to come younger than ever to see our Jerusalem. 4,000 years of a city. We happen to be the last 57 years the landlord, you know. We need to humble ourselves. It's not our Jerusalem. It's your Jerusalem. It's the world Jerusalem. And what we actually did, we decided to seek the place with no boundaries, the internet, and to launch an international project, challenge. Whoever was even once in Jerusalem and took one meaningful photo of his Jerusalem, as long as you do not portray violence or offend others, give us your Jerusalem. Our website completely collapsed 7 years ago when we launched this project. 14,000 photos from all over the world, 89 nations were uploaded to this designated website.
But not just of Ammunition Hill.
No, all Jerusalem. I'm talking about Christian, Muslims, Japanese, Spanish, whoever. And 2.5 million people judged these photos without knowing who took the photo. For the first time, Muslim voted for Jewish, Jewish for Catholic, Catholic for Baha'is. After these 6 weeks, the best 100 photos ever taken by anybody in the world were printed and were in Ammunition Hill for 5 years. It's now in the NRB, and it's now in Atlanta, in the Bremen Museum. Anybody can go there and see the diversity and beauty of my Jerusalem, of your Jerusalem, of his Jerusalem, under one roof. It's amazing. And every photographer who was one of the 100 by the masses, the wisdom of the masses, we told him, can you write something about your Jerusalem? One theme, one phrase. So whoever comes to Atlanta can see in the Bremen Museum 100 love themes to Jerusalem from Mexican people, Japanese, German, Polish, Ukraine, ultra-Orthodox Jewish people, professional photographers, amateur. This is what we do. And the world responds. So Ammunition Hill is there for the future. Talking about the past, thinking about today, and looking to the future.
Do you live in Jerusalem then?
No, I live in Rehovot. Every day, traffic jam to Jerusalem. Not that easy, but it's became my life mission, and I think I'm making a difference. Okay.
You are here at NRB, which is a Christian convention of broadcasters who are, but a lot of Israel supporters here. What does your own spiritual journey look like?
Listen, it's my first time being exposed to non-Jewish communities in the United States. I'm coming a lot. I'm speaking mainly to Jewish people, communities, kids, veterans, lecturers, women for Israel. I'm amazed. I think the one main thing I'm going to do when I'm coming back to Israel is to tell my associates, my friends, we are not alone. Last 3 days I saw so much love and care for Israel, so much love to the core values I stand for. It is very reassuring. Sometimes in Israel we feel very alone. Surely in times like this, surely when we are tough, we win the battles, but we lose the media. And I saw so many ambassadors here of goodwill, of same faith, and we coexist amazingly in Israel. Half of my labor at Ammunition Hill are Palestinians from East Jerusalem.
Really?
I'm going to return. They are waiting for the chocolates I'm bringing from the duty-free every time. First Thursday, hummus is going to be brought by one of the grandmothers, and we're going to break bread together. We coexist amazingly. They need me to be strong. I'm strong.
Do you head up this whole
Yes.
group? Yes.
Yes, and we could hire other Israeli people, but they live in our proximity. Why shouldn't they work with us? And it works amazingly.
Amazing. That's wonderful. Well, what would be your message then to our viewers, and do you want to extend invitation to come and
Surely, on the practical level, do come to Israel. When we see tourists once again, when you see Jerusalem crowded by pilgrims, I know whoever wants to come, it's a great thing to see. Ammunition Hill will tell you in 1.5 hours, 2 hours, what does it mean to be an Israeli? What does it mean war in Israel? And how did we choose to share the legacy of these brave people and to enable people to be inspired from this? And it's an amazing place to see every day, 9 to 5. And we are in the internet. You can Google Ammunition Hill, Facebook in English. We need to be better there. We're getting there. But we speak 6 languages. You can choose. And you're more than welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I wish you the best.
Thank you.